welcome to the Quickening, your daily dose of Quicksilver with yours truly. The word today is just this. You're here to let yourself have what you came for, without being concerned with what anybody else is going to think about it, with even what I was going to say, with even what you're going to think about it. And what I mean is, from the perspective of the ego, the conditioned mind. See, to bring you up to speed, there's only you here, alone, in this whole cosmos. Alone. You. The one and only. I'm all that is. There's only me. And by me, I don't mean the ego. I don't mean the conditioned self. That's a part of thought. And thought is thought. It's just here. Thought is what creates the illusion of division, of separation. There is only I. There is only I am. And everything comes from I am. Everything returns to I am. There's nothing before, nothing after I am. There is I am and I am alone. So the willingness to really be here with that is really so incredible, because it means you have to see it, like what it actually is, not making ideas about it, because you see that thought is division, which means thought is fragmentation, thought is illusion, thought is the source of all illusion. Now the I am is the source of all thought. The true source of creation is the source of thought. But thought is that mechanism by which division appears, by which separation appears, by which differentiation appears. And to be totally and completely aware of that, then obviously that's not the end, that's not good enough. You don't want to simply go, okay, thought creates illusion and yeah, of course, duh, but then obviously you want to go beyond that. You don't just keep hanging out with thought. You want to drop into that silence, and saying drop into it, that's still from the perspective of movement, which still implies thought. So it's just a way of speaking. Because what you are is closer to you than your own body, than your own breath, than your own blood, than your own heartbeat, than your own, what you call your mind, which turns out your individual mind doesn't exist. So when you see that thought is the source of all delusion, illusion, the source of all division, of all separation, and you simply sit here as what you are, really, if you mean it, you have no choice but to come into direct contact with yourself. And you see that what you are is an intelligence absolutely beyond comprehension. That is, the tool of comprehension, or what we typically consider to be the tool of comprehension, is thought. Because thought analyzes, which means it has to take a picture. It has to have a limited data set. You can only engage in analysis with a limited data set. If the incoming accumulation of data is ongoing, which it is, there's no possibility of actual analysis. So analysis can only take place when you've decided to put a three-dimensional cap on, or a fourth-dimensional cap, which includes the three-dimensional, on the data set. It has to be totally demarcated, a top, a bottom, a left, a right, a back, and a front. It has to be within a cube. So you can only hold what exists within a cube, what exists between six walls. You can be aesthetically fancy and carve it into all kinds of other shapes, but basically everything physical has to have six walls, which means three axes, right? The X, the Y, and the Z. So if you see that thought is the exact same way, and all structures of thought are the same way, right? It's a limitation. So when you stand back simply in the space in which the thought appears and disappears, then what you become immediately aware of is you are this empty space, which is pure intelligence, which is love, which is peace, which is joy, which is ecstasy. And when you see the entire appearance of this world, the earth, the galaxy, the entirety of the cosmos, the entirety of the universe, or the multiverse, however you want to conceive of it, it becomes irrelevant. The entirety of what is physically manifest is a pure manifestation of the intelligence of the source of creation. And when you see just how intelligent it is the supreme intelligence of all intelligences. There's nothing more intelligent than this, and any apparently lesser forms of intelligence are still emanations of that prime, principal, supreme intelligence, which is the source of all intelligence. It is its own source. It's the source of itself. It's the source of everything. And when you come into direct awareness that you are that, you see there's no limitation. There's no limitation. There's no limitation. That, if you can really be with that, not just go, okay, that's a nice idea, now tell me what I get. That is what you get. That is the gift. That is the gift. That is the gift. The realization of this is the gift. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is some accessory. This is it. And if you don't feel it, if you're not totally aware of it, feeling is secondary. But if you're not just totally in this, then it's and you are in it. That's the problem. Is that you can't not be in it. Everybody and everything is in it because everybody and everything is it. There's nothing but this. There could never be. There could never be anything other than this. And to not see it is for it to be, your vision to be eclipsed by thought, by a thought form, by memory. And so, as long as thought and memory are eclipsing the eternal vision, then they're not being utilized properly. They're tools of survival. And they could never ever... If you go chasing your thought and your memory, even your loftiest, most exalted forms of thought and memory, your loftiest thoughts, the loftiest, the highest, the most intricate, complex, well thought out thought forms, even if you go chasing them, even if they were to all manifest, all of your thought forms, even if they were to manifest, you would get them, and guess what? It wouldn't be enough. Never would it be enough. If you're chasing thought, it will never, ever, 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 ever be enough. Because that's not really what you want. Thought is a tool for well-being. It's a tool of physical survival. It's there to help the body in its survival process. And as long as thought is there, and therefore as long as the body is there, and it's in a survival process, there is the appearance of others. Now, in consciousness, you know that you're always looking at God. It's all God. There's nothing but God. Even that which appears to not be God, is the source of creation. So insofar as other bodies appear,